Hi, Nameless Sword and Strategic Sword is the top 1 ranking build and has been used by the top players and is proven to be one of the best PvP meta. And good news, it is beginner friendly also. It is very easy to learn the combo and it's not very hard to master it. And if you are beginner, if you are just started the game, it is best suitable for you and it is good for your end game also. I have already switched to this build since 2 weeks ago and I found that this build is super good and is very good in PvP and PvE because you always deal massive amount of damage. This build has a very good DPS and in group cooperation content you will be easily to become the best and the top damage dealer because this build delivers the highest DPS damage ever compared to other builds in the games. Okay, let's look at the strategic sword. The first skill, the Q skill. So this Q skill, when you hit the enemies, if you apply bleed counter, look at this one, the bleed counter. So when the enemy is on the bleed counter, you attack continuous HP damage over times. The second skill is a dash skill. The dash skill is that you can see from this one. So when the enemy already have 5 stacks of bleed counter, you will deal a massive bonus of damage. So this Q skill and dash skill is already a good combination in delivering DPS. Because each weapon you only have 3 skills, so the skill may go to cooldown. So when you are in the cooldown, you can switch to your Nameless Sword. So this Nameless skill actually is also DPS build. So you have both DPS. So if you switch between these two swords during the cooldown, you make sure you always deliver DPS. No matter when your skill is cooldown, you can just switch to another sword to continue deliver a high DPS damage. Okay, there's a few methods you can play this combo. The first one start with the Nameless Sword. Your Q skill is your dash skill. You can always dash toward the enemy like this one. So when you are with the enemies, you can press dash skill to hit it. Then you can switch back to your strategic sword, continue to press the Q to deliver melee damage. By switching the sword, actually you can gain advantage in the stamina. So your stamina can increase faster if you keep on switching between these swords. Because this build is melee, you might need to pair up with basic skill like this one, the golf steps, where you can fly towards the enemies to deliver your melee attacks. Then you might need this leaping torch. This also fly towards the enemies so that you can continue your sword melee skill. So this one, number 1, I equip the glove step. Number 2 is the leaping torch. So this 2 is very important for you to fly towards the enemy. Then you can continue to deliver the sword damage like this one. You have a lot of the dash skill to dash toward the enemies. So as a mini player, you might need a lot of dash skill. But no worries, I will show you the best combinations for your mystic skill and also for your inner way. Then the other play style is that when you are using a Nameless Sword, you can always deliver range damage like this one. So this is your R skill. So let's say if you are away from the enemies, you have a tanker in front of you tanking the enemy, you can always step behind and you press this R skill, then release the R, you deliver a range damage, and this skill can deal a very high damage also if you are in a range. So no worries, you will always deal high damage no matter in the melee and also in the range. So no worries, now I will show you what is the best combinations for your inner way and mystic skills, and I will also show you what is the equipment that you should wear in order to maximize this build. Just to bear in mind that for the Nameless Sword, these Q skills you will charge toward the enemy, so this is important for melee players because you need to get closer to your enemy to deliver the damage. Then for the mystic skill, you need this guard step to fight toward the enemy. Right, then you also need this leaping torch to fight toward the enemy. So these 3 will be your dash skill, dash toward the enemy. Then after reaching the enemy, strategic sword will be your best main damage dealer. The Q skill will cause enemy to bleed. Then this dash skill will utilize the bleed counter and deal massive amount of damage. On top of that, this Nameless skill, the R skill, is also a range attack, so you don't have to approach the enemy. Let's say when you are away from the enemy, you can use this R skill to deliver a wave from the range while deal damage. So you can melee, you can range, then you can fight towards the enemies. Later I will show you how is the skill rotations. No worries, now we focus on how to maximize the build first. So now let's start with the equipments, how to get the equipments. So for this build, you always have to do this wandering path. Then you go to the challenge. So there's one boss called this one. This is the Void Kings. So you should always spend all your energy doing these Void Kings. Why? Because if you look at their rewards, so for this Void King, you always get this Bell Strike Umbra tips. This will be used to upgrade your martial arts. So if you look at your Nameless sword, for example, go to develops, you can see all these sword. So all these sword, there's a school name, they call this Bell Strike Spender. And for the strategic sword, it's a Bell Strike Umbra. So if you are doing this boss fight, so you get the tips like this one, you get the Umbra tips. So these Umbra tips will be used to upgrade your strategic sword. So after killing this boss, you will get weapon, these, and pendants for Hawkwing sets. So it will always drop weapons for Hawkwing sets. So that means you always get this set. So if you are wearing 2 pieces of this set, you will get an affinity rate increase. Say if you are wearing 4 pieces, your affinity damage actually get increased. Then for the defense piece, it will be dropping this Eagle Rise, but I think this is less important. So you need to focus on the affinity rate. So why this is important? Let me show you. If you go to the escape, you go to the develops, and you go to the detail, you'll see there's an attribution here. So if you scroll out, you can see this is your affinity rate. So I'm now at 14.8%. So this affinity is that there's a 14% of chance to cause the affinity attacks, so which deal additional 35% more damage to your normal attacks. So you might need this affinity to trigger very often to increase your DPS, so that you need this Hawkwing set to increase your affinity rate. So you look at these equipments, actually I'm wearing 4 sets with this Hawkwing sets. So 2 of my sword is also from the Hawkwing series. You can look at these eagle wings. So I'm now having these 4 equipments with the same logo like the wings, this one. So in this case, I already activated the full Hawkwing set effects. I have my affinity rate increased by 1.5%. Then I have 4 pieces, which increased my affinity damage and increased the physical attacks when I trigger the affinity. So this will further increase your DPS. Because this build, you might need to focus on the damage DPS. So you have your bleed counter from your strategic swords, and you also have your affinities triggers. So this will deal a massive amount of damage in your PvP and also in your PvE. Let's say if the set is not enough, you can still also go to your talents. For example, go to develops, talents. So you look at this basic tab. There's some skill that you can boost your affinity. For example, this one, increase your affinity rate by 2%. And there's also other skill like this one, also increase your affinity rate by another 2%. It actually stack up, so the more red, the better. So you can see this one, the affinity rate is very important. You need to make it as high as possible to always trigger affinity attacks to deal extra damage. Then if you look at the talent again, you not only need this one is a global wide. It applies to all the mod, solo mod, PvP mod, and PvE mod. Then for the arena mod, you need to upgrade this talent also. You can see this one, there's a skill here. This also increases your affinity rate by 6% up to 7.5%. But this only applies to your arena. So let's say if I already have 15% plus 7.5%, that means it's a 20%. That means every 5 hits, I will trigger 1 affinity damage. Then for the affinity, you can combine with this inner way. Then you can look at this one, the insightful strike. So this one is that when you deal affinity damage, it generates focus counter. So when you have the focus counter, you can trigger concentration stage. So in this stage, it actually increases more affinity damage, increased by 10%. This will really boost your damage to the maximum. Then back to the gear, you can see my Nameless skills. You can look at this one. I'm wearing this type of gear. So this gear, you always need to wear at the maximum gear tier level you have. For example, now the maximum tier is 56 at this moment. Then you might need to wear the purple colors, this purple colors grade, which is the highest grade at this moment. Highest grade purple color and the highest tier. So this is the best equipment you have. And also make sure you are wearing this Hawkwing set, 4 sets to increase your affinity rate to the maximums. So for the gear, you might always need to tune your gear to the maximums. There's a 4 white dot here, which means I already maximized my tune. So how to tune the gear? You can select any weapons, click the tunes, then you can select the material. The material must be similar gear tier as the gear you want to tune. For example, you can select this gear. So if you look at this chart, it will generate additional 4 random stats to your gear. There are press Q button here to activate all these 3 skills. It will generate boost ability at randoms. For example, you can look at this sword. So I already generated a few random skill here. One of these is increase my affinity rate. You can see this one is actually boost further my affinity rate. So you might need to wear this weapon that increase your affinity rate as well. For example, this sword increase the affinity rate. So my pendant also increased my affinity by 1.3%, right? Then you can also look at my bracer. Bracer also increased my affinity rate by 1.2%. All these add up to your affinity rate. You have to make your affinity rate as high as possible. So bear in mind, you always need to tune your gear to your maximums to open up this hidden stat to your gear. Unlock all these hidden stat, you might get this affinity rate bonus. Make sure you wear this to increase your affinity rate to maximize your damage. So these 4 will be your damage equipments. So all these 4 increase your physical damage, and these 4 quadrants increase your defense. And for the defense, I think it's less important. You can use whatever you like. It is up to you. In my case, I'm using this Eagle Eye set. I haven't get my last pieces. I'm still working on it. So now look at the inner way. So the first important build is that you need this Mariel Chain. So this Mariel Chain will give you a 80% of chance to get the E river when you are attacking. So when you have 5 stacks of this E counter, if you boost your damage, so this will further increase your DPS. Because this build focus on DPS, you might look at the DPS in a way that you can use. Then the second in a way is a sword morph. This is a must-have for your Nameless sword build. So this in a way is that when you equip this one, when you are using the Vagrant Sword skill from the Nether Sword, it will deliver multiple additional sword damage. So what is this Vagrant Sword? So this one is referring to your Nether Sword charge skill. So this is a Vagrant Sword. So you can see this one, if you are using a sword morph, so when you have this chi shield activated, you can deliver more wave with this Vagrant Sword. So now it only has 1 wave like this one. So if you had a shield and you have this morph sword, it will deliver multiple waves. So what's key shield here? Key shield is that when you are using the Q skill, this one, the Q skill, you destroy the enemy, you will also create a shield like this one. This is a blue shield. So we are in the blue shield state. To deliver an hour, you actually deliver more weight. So let me demonstrate to you. For example, now we are with the Nether Sword. So let's say I'm now with the Nether Sword. When I press the Q skill, that's the word. You create a shield. Did I shield? So I deliver this out. You deliver 3 waves. Right. So this is how the combo works. So let's try again. So you use the Q, destroy the enemy. So you have this blue shell that clear, press the out, then release 3 waves, right? By default, it's only 1 wave. This one, only 1 wave. So when you have the sword morph, you have the blue shell activated, can deliver more than 1 wave. This will greatly increase your DPS. So you need this sword morph is super important to have this. Then the second one is the sword horizon. This sword horizon will be beneficial to your strategic sword. So when you use any ability from the strategic sword, like martial art skill, special skill, or charge skill, so when you press the button at the perfect timings after the skill endings, it will give you additional attack. This is called the crisscrossing attacks. So for example, you can back to this one, you can go to this strategic sword again. You can see this one is your martial art skill. So when you have this sword morph, if you deliver, it will perform more attacks. Then this one is your special skill. So if you have this sword horizon, it will perform more attacks. And same to the charge skill. So let me show you. Let's say now let's say if I take out this sword horizon, if I take it out, so you can see I switch to this strategic sword. When I press a Q, it only just a few attacks, right? So now if I equip back this. If we back these sword horizons, so I have this one, you can see if I press the Q again, now it's in the cooldown. So now I press the Q, and the Q again. See this one actually delivered more actions. It deliver this crisscross attacks. Then send to the dash skill. So if I press the dash skill, then I press multiple times, it actually perform more attacks. This is provided that I had this in a way with this sword horizons. You deal more attacks. You perform more attacks after your skill end. You perform these crisscrossing sword attacks. Let's try again. Q, then Q again multiple times. Look at this one. This is an additional attack. Then the dash skill press multiple times. See this one? This is a new attack. associated with this in a way. So the last one, you might need Insightful Strike. So this will maximize your affinity damage, which I already mentioned just now. Then if you don't like this one, you can actually switch to the other one. There's a few good in a way you can use. For example, these battle items. So when you are using PvE, you might need this skill because some boss is very tough to fight. You might need to change to this one. Then some also use this Vital Leech because you do a lot of damage. You do not have the heal skill. So if you use this Vital Leech, so when you perform these exhaustion executions, you'll get the HP restored by 12%. So this exhaustion execution is referring to your F skill. So when the enemy is down, you press the F skill, F. So you press the F skill, it will increase your HP by 12% of your damage deal. So for this moment, I'm using this Insightful Strike to maximize my damage. Then for the Mystic skill, so I'm using this God Steps. Because I'm a melee player, I might need to fight to my enemies very often. So I might need this Leaping Thought also. This one will fight towards the enemies. Then also this one is optional. I'm using this Golden Body. This skill actually heal you. It heal your HP. So let's say when your HP is low, you have a lot of the vitality, you want to use it up. You can use this one. You consume all your vitality to provide a shield. Then this shield, it will actually increase your HP if you are not using the shield. Then for some bonus tips, for this strategy actually I also train my Panacea fans because sometimes I need a heal also. So when I'm fighting a very tough enemies, like in the PvE, I'm having a very tough boss to fight. Let's say when there's no timer, I might need a heal skill. So I will use the Nameless pair up with the Panacea fans. Because when there's no timer, there's no time limit, you can always use Panacea fan to heal your characters to make sure you survive and fight with the boss. So this will make your life a lot easier when fighting a very tough boss. So I'm training my Panacea fan as optionals to make some healings. So let's play some PvP games, Wandering's Path, and Arena. Let's try a match, single match. Demonstrate some abilities for these combinations. Okay, here's our opponents in the silver, also silver ones. Let's go. And that's what the enemy. Dodge first, and that's the enemy. Then switch the sword. Executions. Again, now to fight towards the enemy. Also. Okay, this is basically how the build goes. It deals massive amount of damage. You can see the enemies, the HP is reduced very quickly because we have a very high DPS. So this is a very good build overall, and I use it for my PvP as well. So that's all for the video. Hope you like this one. Okay, see you next time. Bye bye.